Okay, so this is the assignment 5, Holy Holes Batman. So we are going to jump into here, and we are going to be making this right here. So when it comes to making holes, there's a lot of little details right here in the slideshow that I will attach. You'll see what these notes mean. I'll kind of explain a little bit more as we go. And we'll be making 5 holes here in this little block. So following this tutorial, we'll just jump into Inventor. Here's my mouse size for you real quick. Make it real big. And we're going to start with a new part. We're going to go Start 2D Sketch. We start on this bottom surface, and then I'm going to draw a rectangle. And I'm going to make this thing 10 inches long and 2 inches wide. I'll open that baby up and click Finish Sketch. And I'm going to extrude it 2 inches. Click OK. And I'm going to start a new sketch on top of this surface here. So I'm going to go Start 2D Sketch, Top Surface. And I'm going to use my line tool. I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to kind of drag. You can see that there's a little yellow dot. It's going to turn green when I hit the midpoint. Midpoint right there. I'll click. I'll draw straight down. I'll click right there. Right click and say OK. And then in here, I'm going to start using points. So we haven't used these before, but a point is really just a dot. And we're going to put 5 of them along this line. So I'm going to go point. And I'm just going to start with the middle one because it'll snap to the middle spot right there. And I'm going to put 1, 2, 1, and 2 right here. And dimension-wise, I'm going to use the dimension tool and click here. And this needs to be 5/3 of an inch. Or sorry, yeah, 5/3. So I go 5 divided by 3, enter. And I'll do the same thing here. 5 divided by 3, enter. Because that's a weird number. It's a continuing decimal, so it's easier just to put the fraction in. 5 divided by 3, enter. From here into here, 5 divided by 3, enter. Okay, finish sketch, and you should have these 3 dots. This one in the middle, I didn't put a dimension there because it should have automatically just snapped to the midpoint, which would be 5 inches, and we don't have to worry about it. So kind of check it over, make sure you've got those dots. And once you've got all those dots in place, we will start using the hole tool. So right here we'll use this top view, or you could even use this view as well. That orientation. But I prefer this one. And we're going to go to the hole tool right here. But before we click it, I'm going to select which of these points we want to make a hole with. So I'm going to say this one first, and then hole. And if I kind of go at an angle here, I can see kind of what's going on. It'll give me a preview. And I want to make sure all of these settings are correct. So the first one that we're making is this one right here. And this is a simple through hole. So it's a 1/4 inch and then 2 inches deep. This is kind of a typo. It should just say through, which means go through the entire material. So I'm going to say simple hole. It does not have a seat, so it doesn't have a counterbore, spot face, or a countersink, so you just click no. And then I'm going to change this determination to this one right here, is through all. That just says go through the entire thing. And this right here should be at 0.25. You click enter. There it is. So there's the first one. But we've got a little problem. Now we can't see the other points. It was consumed by the first hole sketch. So we'll click the plus next to hole, right click on sketch, say share sketch, and that will enable this to come back. So one more time, just so you can see that. If the sketch gets consumed, oh my goodness, if the sketch gets consumed, you'll hit the plus mark here next to hole, right click on sketch 2 and share sketch. Okay, All right, it's ready for round 2. So we'll go to hull and, oops, so I forgot to click the point first. So cancel, click this point, hull, and go back here. And we are looking for this one right here. So this one has a counterbore with a diameter of 0.75. The main diameter is 0.38, depth of 2, or it should just be through all. And the counterbore goes down 1/4 inch. So we'll select this as a simple hull, counterbore. This diameter is 0.38. The major diameter up here is, I believe, 0.75. It is 0.75. And the depth is 0.25, right there. Click. And that should give you a preview that looks kind of like this. Click OK. Wunderbar. All right, so we'll go to this next one. Click this point and hull tool. And let's see what it's got. This time it is a countersink, but everything else is the same. So all we have to do is change this to a countersink right here, and make sure that this is this one has a diameter of 0.75. Let's see what that is. 0.75. Good. And then this right here where it says 82 degrees, that's just the angle of the countersink, and that's 82 degrees is a default. That's actually a standard, so it normally will just snap to that, and you normally don't have to change it. Okay, that's it. So click OK. All right, next one. Click the spot or the point. Hull tool. And this one is threaded. So this one, it's missing a little bit of information on the assignment right here. But it looks like the thread goes down 1/2 inch, but the hole goes a little bit deeper. So it should be 3/4 inch for the hole, and then 1/2 inch for the thread. And then this over here, this is just a code for like what classification the bolt is, depending on its thread and its size. So those are generic, and they're in here. So first I'm going to change this to tapped hole right there. And I'm going to change this to unified screw threads. That's the first one. Size, I believe it's 1/4 inch, so 0.25. And it should say this designation should automatically snap to this one. There are a lot of other ones, but we just want the default one. It looks like right there, 1/4-20 UNC-1B. So then we got to change this right here, the classification, it's a 1B. Direction right here, just for your information. Left-handed is special case. That just means it turns, you go lefty-tighty instead of righty-tighty. That one's only used for special cases, so we'll just stick with right-handed. All right. Oh, I think this one is doesn't have a seat, so no seat. It's just a simple one. And the thread goes 1/2 inch, and then we're going to say the termination right here. So how far down does the hole itself go? And 0.75 is good, so it looks like it's got it already. Click OK. Beautiful. All right, so now we only have one more left. So we'll go click here, hole, and then I'm going to grab this one right here. So we're going to go 1/2 inch-13 UNC-1B, depth of 1 inch, counterbore of 1 inch diameter, and that goes down 1/4 inch. Okay. So in here, in Inventor, it's going to have a counterbore. The size is 1/2 inch, so 0.5. And then we're going to change this -1 UNC, or 1/2 inch-13 UNC, 1B. Wonderful. All right, and then this one does have a termination point, I believe. That only goes down 1 inch, so this is the overall depth is 1 inch. The overall diameter at the top is also 1 inch. And yeah, that should go down 1/4 inch. That looks about right. right to me. Let's double check. This would be, yep, looks good. Click OK. There it is. So once we've got this all modeled out and we want to get rid of the sketch because we don't need it anymore, we can right click on sketch 2 or this one, either one of those, and it'll have the option to make it invisible. So you click the visibility bar and it should go away and life is good. All right, so our last phase of the assignment is to make a sketch out of this. So I'm going to save this, File, Save As. Let's save it to our student drive like that. And just this one you can just call it Holy Holes Block. And save. I'm going to go File, New, Standard IDW, Create. So it's going to open up a drawing sheet here, and we want to get rid of ANSI large, delete, and just for reference, the ANSI is important, the title block is important, but for this assignment we're not going to worry about it. I'm going to change the sheet size here to A. Click OK. And now we're going to place the base view, and it should automatically bring up the one we just created, the whole block. And I'm going to find a face. There we go. The top is what we want, or whatever face you have that shows the holes. And we're going to change this to the half scale. And shading is good. We want to have shading on as well. And then I'm going to come over here. Instead of doing the top ISO right views, we're just going to do this front view and the isometric view. So you come diagonal like that and click once and then click OK. Then we're going to come up here and drag this view by clicking this little red shaded box down, so it's right here on the side, and leave some space in between here. So next thing we're going to do is a section view. So we're going to cut this block in half so we can see what it looks like on the inside right here. So I'm going to go section view, come in a little bit, click here, and I'm going to drag this line over until I hit this green dot right here. And I'm going to come up just a little bit. Click once, and I'm going to come straight down. Click again, right click, say continue, and I can bring this block over here and drop it right there. So if your line right here doesn't extend all the way through the object, if it's like up here, you're going to get this weird broken view right there. And that's technically fine. That's a standard way to draw that. But I prefer it like this. So either way, it's really a personal preference. Just as long as it's not overlapping with these. Okay, so before we put in our dimensions, we need to annotate this. So whenever we have holes like this, we want to put the center marks and then the center line bisectors. So first, center mark, you come in and you just click the outside hole, like that, and it should make a little X, some crosshairs. Easy. Now the centerline bisectors are a little more complicated. Click here, zoom in and you go boom, boom, and it should make some dash lines that go all the way through. Boom, boom. You can drag these, oh, sorry, and then one right here as well. Oops. Centerline bisector, and you want this line and that line. Perfect. And boom, boom. Right there and right here. Here and here. Right click. And then enter. Right click. Cancel. Okay. And I think you can actually adjust the center lines here as well. So if you wanted to extend them all the way through, like this one's a little bit too close, I can extend it up like that. Okay. So now we are ready to use our dimensions. So, the nice thing about Inventor, if we use the hole tool to create these holes, it will automatically read the same information. So rather than having to type all these symbols and stuff, we just have to use this. So I can do all of that work in 5 clicks. well, 6 including this one, so that one, but hole and thread tool right here under the annotate tab. Zoom in a little bit, click, 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 and click. Right click, OK. You can maybe scoot this view over a little bit. Okay, and that is pretty much it. So the last thing to do is put your name on it using the text box. So I'm going to say this is Mr. Barlow, this is period A1, and you can highlight everything and then change the size right here to 0.24. Click OK. Right click, OK. Move that to the corner maybe, top right, top left, it's all good. And then you're going to use the snipping tool, so type in snip right here, new, just going to highlight the whole thing, save, and then I'll save that somewhere like your, here would be great, holes, save, and then you can submit it to Canvas. And that's that. So not too shabby, not too complicated.